Let me say a pleasant good evening to Brother Imtiaz Mohammed. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mikey. Good night to all the listeners.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here.
They seem to. Well, thank you so much for being here. You know, of course, you have sent out a release. You said the strong comments made by the opposition leader, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, about the outgoing USA President Joe Biden administration is correct and the truth. The Biden administration has been one of the main players in committing acts of genocide against the Palestinian people. They have sent billions of dollars worth of the most sophisticated weapons of war to kill innocent men, women, and children, including babies, during the last 15 months. And there are people who are weighing in and saying that, the comments that was made, of course, there was no business talking about what's going on in the U.S., what have you. But, there's always this saying that any Muslim that is being, there's no justice, it affects Muslims all over the world. And go ahead.
Okay, well, that is quite correct, because our Prophet Muhammad said that when one part of the body hurts, the entire body must feel that pain. And this is one of the underlying factors where Muslims feel so attached to each other, besides the rest of the belief in Islam, right? But that one thing is that when hardship hits any Muslim, right? Now, generally speaking, you say, well, why Muslims only? But this is specifically, a quotation from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? That applies where he's talking to the Muslims and telling them that when one part of the body hurts, the entire body must feel that pain. It doesn't mean that if a non-Muslim is also hurt in any way or any fashion, that we mustn't feel that type of pain as well, right? So I just wanted to clarify that, right? Yeah. So this is why, see, when what is happening in Gaza, I mean, besides, if you really look at what was happening in Gaza for the last 15 months, you would have seen not only Muslims feel that pain, but there were like thousands or millions of non-Muslims right around the world who felt that pain and who came out on the streets of London, USA, Canada, Australia, you name the country, and they all came out in their thousands, right, and protested over that genocide that was taking place. Further to that, let's get back to the question of the comments by the opposition leader. And while it is, politics playing off as well, right, we have to give Jack his jacket. And Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the Honorable opposition leader, she did come out and made some comments. And I think the comments that she made, in my view, were correct, right? Because she there were facts to support it, right? And people, when the media put the question over to the politicians and to the public, I heard comments coming condemning statements and so on, right? People must take time to examine what the statement is. She said several things in the statement. And if they want to contest a statement, then we have to break down the statement and contest, the statement. We just can't make a blanket.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, these are things that basically did play out. I mean, these are facts. I mean, right. Babies were killed, men, women. When you look at how many people that were socially displaced, we just showed some clippings there of from today in, of course, the area of the Gaza, where many of the buildings are in ruins, and people have to now try and rebuild their lives and what have you. This is not something that you could just simply look at and say, well, it didn't happen. This is real. These are real people, real lives. And I think it took some courage on her behalf to stand up and say, listen, we've all been witnessing the injustice that is taking place, and it's totally unfair. I have some serious issues with many of the policies that the Biden administration was trying to pass off. When a teenager could go to their parents and say that they want to live their life as a different gender for the rest of their life. I mean,
Yeah.
these things are questionable. You have tampons in boys' locker room and boys' bathrooms and all of these things that was taking place. But many people felt that she should not have weighed in on this.
Well, I think that she's entitled to her opinion on certain matters as well. And I think that, a lot of people feel that Trinidad and Tobago and the opposition leader shouldn't have made a statement. Some of them feel that, she's interfering and all of these type of statements. I beg to differ because, as we Trinidadians, whether it be politicians or otherwise, they always want to take a soft stance on things. And I think that, there's a strong stance that Ms. Bissessar took, right? I support that stand 100%, right? It is time that, we stand up to these big countries, these leaders of them, who are not really doing the correct thing. And I mean, Biden and they are part of this genocide. Right? They have committed many, many war crimes during this genocide, right? And the thing about it is that the United States, right, is, contesting with Russia and China for, to be the most powerful countries in the world. And if it is that you are committing genocide and you can finance a war well, not a war, but you're financing a genocide, billions of dollars you are given to the Israelis to kill innocent men, women, children. Israelis starving children. They are starving the population in Gaza. And if they can get away with this, right, then why does it other countries, right, you are saying otherwise? Because if you take the war in Ukraine, right, when that war started, it was the same Blinken and the same United States government that said, you can't, cut the current, you cannot blow up hospitals and all these other things. But in Gaza, they have a free reign, right? They can do what they want.
And it seemed as though what took place was just a matter as collateral damage. It was just passed off as collateral damage. When you hear Netanyahu make the statement that the whole objective was to go after Hamas, find them wherever they are, and kill them. And you're right. Whether it be schools, whether it was hospitals, they simply didn't care. And throughout that 15-month period, how many of these officials were actually willing to stand up and say, listen, there has to be a ceasefire. We have to take in consideration the people that are being killed here. And mind you, I am not here to stand up with Hamas. I think Hamas really and truly needs to cut out the nonsense. But at the same time, the method and the whole procedure that took place was totally unjustifiable and totally wrong.
And we must take note of who created Hamas. Always remember who created Hamas. And who created Hamas was the Israeli government.
That's right.
Because when they wanted to divide the people of Palestine, right, between Yasser Arafat faction and the other people, they are the ones who finance and build Hamas, right? So this is something that the world must get accustomed to, because the United States have a history of that as well, where they will go into countries and go into continents, finance a group of people to bring down legitimate governments around the world. They did that in Afghanistan, right? When they went into Afghanistan, they promised the people that they were going to rebuild Afghanistan. And then we would have seen where people were running behind airplanes, American Air Force planes, right? Holding on to the wing.
Yeah, trying to get out.
Kind of thing, right? To get to America, because the Americans decide that, okay, we'll give it back to the Taliban, right? And let's fly out of here, because there's nothing else again for them to take from there. So, we have to be careful of what America is, because the world now, through this genocide that they have done, the world have now recognized what America is all about, right? And we in Trinidad and Tobago must take note of that, because, you always want to take a soft stand, because they talk about, we have to trade with America, right? We need, different, economic, what do you call it?
Yeah, the benefits and what have you. But that doesn't mean that there's
America don't buy anything from we really, right? It's we money spent in America all the time, right? So why it is that we can't do without America? You know, do the exchange, right? Go and look to do business in South America. Go to Central America, right? And we can do trade, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, the thing about we Trinidadians is that we have grown so accustomed with luxuries in our life. Take, for example, this crisis with the foreign exchange right now in the country, right? You have what it is that PriceSmart does bring into this country that we can't do without. Everything in PriceSmart, right, is foreign goods and things that we can do without. And with 500 million US goes to PriceSmart every annually, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, the United States is one benefiting because I think PriceSmart will leave the profits here, right? PriceSmart profits goes out of the country as well, right? So at the end of the day, when people talk about the economics and it's going to be a backlash for Trinidad and Tobago and this and that, you know, the thing about it is that, you know, learn to stand on your own. That is where we
Find the courage. I understand.
Right.
Mr. Ahmed, I want to thank you so much for taking time out and highlighting this issue. I know when we talk again, we're going to have some more time to go into this, but I really and truly applaud you for, you know, showing that perspective that many people may have overlooked. What took place there it's genocide, over 46,000 killed and more than 100,000 injured, people socially displaced and have to find some way of rebuilding. Very unfortunate.
One other thing I just want to add.
Go ahead.
Give 1 minute. Is that Candace Bond, the ambassador, right?
Yeah.
Now being recalled and so on because they lose election. Right? She's not deserving of any award from Trinidad and Tobago because every government official is guilty because their government and their president led this genocide, right? And they are all guilty. They shouldn't be giving them no awards, right? So we are all against that as well.
Thank you so much. Again, enjoy the rest of your evening. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, man. Take care. Thank you.